Before we begin, let's take a journey back thousands of years to a time long before printing presses, long before modern nations. When stories were carried in memory, written on scrolls, and preserved through faith. The Bible's story begins with people, history, struggle, exile, empire, and the deep human search for God. The Bible, as we know it, is a collection of writings developed over many centuries. Its roots lie among the people of Israel, whose sacred writings form the Old Testament and Hebrew Scriptures. The earliest portions are associated with Moses, who led the Israelites out of Egypt in the Exodus. Books like Genesis, Exodus, and Deuteronomy, the Torah, were central to Israel's identity. These texts were compiled and edited over time from earlier oral traditions and written sources. Long before writing, these stories were told from generation to generation. Stories of creation, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, of covenant and promise, slavery and liberation. Preserved by a community that believed they were in relationship with one God. As centuries passed, Israel formed a kingdom under leaders like King David and his son Solomon, during which many historical accounts, psalms, and wisdom writings were composed, including songs and prayers later collected in the Book of Psalms. Traditionally linked to David, Israel's history was not only about triumph, but also about crisis. In 586 BCE, the Babylonians conquered Jerusalem and destroyed the temple, the Babylonian exile. During and after this exile, significant editing and compilation of sacred texts took place, as the community sought to preserve its identity and faith without a temple or a king. Over time, these writings, law, history, prophecy, poetry were recognized as authoritative, forming the scriptures that would later shape Christianity. Then, in the 1st century CE, a Jewish teacher named Jesus Christ began preaching. His life, teachings, crucifixion, and belief in his resurrection became the foundation of a new movement that would grow within and eventually beyond Judaism. After Jesus' death, his followers shared his teachings orally. Eventually, written accounts were produced, including the 4 Gospels, which narrate his life and message. Letters by early Christian leaders, like Paul the Apostle, were sent to communities across the Roman Empire to guide them in faith and practice. These writings circulated among churches, copied by hand, read in gatherings, and gradually recognized as inspired and authoritative by the 2nd and 3rd centuries. Christian communities used these writings alongside Jewish scriptures. A consensus developed regarding which books would be included in the New Testament, a process that unfolded through usage, theological reflection, and church councils. One significant milestone occurred in the 4th century when Christianity gained legal status. Under Emperor Constantine and later church councils, like Carthage in 397 CE, listed the books that correspond to the 27 books of the New Testament recognized by most Christians today. Meanwhile, the Old Testament canon had been shaped earlier within Jewish tradition, though differences later emerged between Jewish, Protestant, Catholic, and Orthodox canons. As Christianity spread, the need for a standard Latin translation led to Jerome's work. He produced the Latin Vulgate, highly influential in Western Christianity for over 1,000 years. During the Middle Ages, copies were painstakingly handwritten by scribes in monasteries, preserving the text through centuries before the invention of printing. Then, in the 15th century, Johannes Gutenberg revolutionized distribution with the printing press. The Gutenberg Bible, printed around 1455, made scriptures more widely accessible. Later, during the Reformation, Martin Luther translated the Bible into vernacular languages, so ordinary people could read it themselves. In 1611, the King James Version was published, becoming an influential English translation. Throughout its long history, the Bible has been translated into thousands of languages and has become one of the most widely distributed and read books in the world. The Bible did not create religion in a single moment, but reflects the development of faith traditions. Beginning with ancient Israel's covenant faith in one God, shaped by law, worship, prophecy, and wisdom. Then expanding through the life and teachings of Jesus and the growth of the early Christian movement. The Roman context is especially important as Christianity unfolded under Roman rule. Early Christians often faced suspicion and persecution, yet the message continued to spread along Roman roads and through Roman cities until it became legally recognized and later dominant within the empire. Step by step, what began as oral tradition became written scrolls. What were separate writings became collections. What were collections became a canon. And what was a persecuted movement became a global religion. Through all these stages oral, storytelling, manuscript copying, translation, canon formation, printing, and global mission, the Bible took shape. Today, when audiences open a Bible, they engage with a library of texts written over more than a millennium in different historical contexts by multiple authors, preserved through communities of faith who believed these writings carried divine significance. Understanding this step-by-step historical development helps us see that the Bible's birth was not a single event, but a long, complex process rooted in real history, real people, real empires, and real communities, whose experiences shaped the book that continues to influence billions around the world.